You know, there's something could be said about kind of being the single newscaster for these shows, or podcaster for that matter. But with that being said, welcome to another episode of Mission Start Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony, to be honest. Now, you may notice one interesting change. So, let me actually minimize some shit. One of the changes, obviously, you may see is that we no longer have the sidebar. And that's because we officially ended our affiliate program not too long ago. So, what's I gonna say? We are moving forward, and thanks again to everyone who helped out with Mission Starter Podcast from the beginning. But it was kind of something we had to move on and just kind of develop more things on the site. But nonetheless, I am going to be changing this layout a tad bit. It will stay mostly the same, but there will be some changes. And for some reason, I feel like I'm lagging. Okay, I think that's better. I don't know. I gotta figure out a way to fix this. I feel like. Yeah. I think there may be an input lag. Alright, well, regardless, you're gonna get me talking with some lag. So, alright. That being said, let's begin the show. We got a lot of topics this morning. We got a freaking huge week in the past week of news. So, where to begin? Let's get back to the HTC Vive. Now, let me bring up the B-roll footage. Let's see, where are you? I heard this. Okay. So, last we checked, the Vive was close to coming out, or it's still on the way coming out. It hasn't been officially released. But one of the big things that happened this past week is that the pre-orders went up for it, and holy crap. This was reported off of aristechnica.co.uk. In the latest update, the HTC Xianyi has revealed that the company shipped 15,000 units within the first 10 minutes of Vive going on sale. Presumably, that is a worldwide figure rather than specifically in the UK. 15,000 units already pre-ordered for the Vive, which is nuts to really think about. Okay, so it was last week we had a question rather that would we see some interest in the Vive or any of the VR products, because if it's I guess it's something that we have not seen as of late. This VR's been around for a while in the game industry, but the biggest push for this year from all three major companies for VR has really shown itself to be a player in the game industry. The question was the market. That's what I kind of talked about in previous weeks. Like, what is the market going to be when it comes to these devices to the VR? Well, the answer is right there. 10,000 already pre-ordered within the last 24 hours. Are they coming out? No, the first 10 minutes of the sale. And to give him to give it preference, the HTC Vive is registered at around $800, $900. And if that is a strong indication of people, I mean, 15,000, that's to scoff at. Obviously, like, there's something that's to be said, the fact that they're maybe waiting for more pre-orders. Or maybe they're trying to get more in stock, but that is a pretty good size chunk indication that there is interest. Now, are these like astronomical numbers? No, they're not. Are these numbers could compare to a game? No. Like, these numbers it's a very good start. It shows off that there is definitely some interest within the Vive and within VR, especially at the price around $800. I think still surprises me. But with that being said, Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's really awesome. I think the fact that this is finally happening this year, that we're finally going to get the answers that we've all been wondering. Like, is there a market? Is there going to be enough for people to? Hang on, let me just, whatever. There you go. Is there enough for this market to really like justify like getting into VR? And so far, like the market's saying, at least in a small chunk, like yes, we are very interested. Now given this was the same case when it came to the other Kickstarter console that people were all about back in like I think a couple years ago, as far as Vive, with the I forgot, it was like the Android console. It did poorly afterwards. The Ouya was an indication that a lot of people that were fundraising that console was saying that we want a new console. We are hungry for a new console. So it may be the same case again for this thing. Maybe it's more or less about gaming, more about using it for other things. But there is definitely interest. Now, I'm curious to see how, again, the market is going to indicate how this is going to be in the later months. Like how much is it going to make in about at the end of the year, or given a year? Like how much are these VR products going to be, and where is the game industry going to stand with it? So it's cool, it's interesting, but it's, again, and this is the quote I say in the show every time: wait and see. And it's pretty much that. We had to wait and see in terms of like what the market says, what people are saying. 15,000 is really good indication, but we need more. We need more information, more details. So, going from virtual reality to AR reality. Now, Microsoft put out a few trailers about how their AR supposedly works, how they plan to use it, and they showed a demo of using Conquer, or as they call Young Conquer. And Young Conquer here is jumping around in the couch, which you are kind of wondering like, how is that happening? And basically what they're doing is they're using the Microsoft HoloLens, the AR kind of more of augmented reality versus the VR, where in this instance you can look around your room and Conquer will just kind of recognize like, oh, this is a platform, oh, this is a couch, oh, okay, I'm going to go and jump on it, or going to run over it. Now it's cool. Like I think that it's a very interesting step, kind of holograms in a way. They also showed off like you can play like a detective story with the AR2 as well, which is really cool. I'm personally more interested in it for the other aspects outside of gaming. I think gaming for AR, I think maybe a bit too. I think it'll be too gimmicky. But when it comes to other aspects, like I'm a cosplayer. Like I would love to play this. I'm not play this. I like to have this when I'm making costumes. Just Iron Man, just like pop up like a picture, a reference picture, or like a video how to draw something, to create a certain part of a costume. Like that's really cool to me. I think that AR has a lot of potential. I think in the aspect of gaming, I think that's more suited for the VR experience than it is for the AR. The thing is, though, what they also announced is that AR is going for $3,000 for developers right now to develop on it. Now, whether that be an indication as far as like how much this is going to be for the future, a la Oculus Rift, but we don't know exactly. I mean, if they're going to try to appeal this to people, consumers, it's obviously going to be a lot cheaper, I'm hoping, at the very least. The very interesting thing about the whole thing is that the AR, like the device, requires no wires. It has its own OS on its own system, or on its own on its own system. It is definitely what the future of what the 80s movies and 90s, early 90s shows kind of say, like, this is the future. We're gonna put these on, and all this, we're gonna become Iron Man. And though that is more actually a realistic chance with the AR than with the VR, because the VR, while you still have that connected experience and it's better for gaming in that aspect, you're more tied to the computer. So it's not quite the what's the word we're looking for? It's not quite the same, but at the same time, it's definitely, again, the path of virtual reality or augmented reality is definitely going in that direction. So, yeah, I would definitely see how that goes. I mean, there's definitely an interest, and they're pushing very hard for this year. A question of like when they come out and the market responds is, again, another question to be answered. We'll see. I think I will say though, like between this and the 3D TV, that was like one of the things that they tried to do years ago. The 3D TV failed miserably, and this is kind of another 3D TV on its own, but it's more of a thing, more of a fetish of like of devices that people can use that were that are used that people can put themselves within the game, more immersive, if you will. So yeah, we'll see. Honestly, I'm down for the AR, but I'm gonna wait and see how much the price is, because $3,000 for development is way too much. But if you're a developer and if you have a company that pay for it, by all means, go for it. All right, so okay, let's talk about a game I'm pretty excited for, Doom. Now, Doom was showed off this past year with a new trailer. It looks sick. But one of the things that people complained about recently was the cover Doom was just straight as a Space Marine, like it, and then Doom on the cover, which was, to me and many others believed, like, yeah, this is pretty boring. Like, I don't like this cover. So the developers of Doom said, saw the responses, like, okay, so what if we made an alternate cover, an idea, and this is something very minor, but still something to be brought up. So this is their alternate version going up for voting. They didn't particularly say what type of voting process they're really going to develop other sketches as well, but already off of this, holy crap! I would love to have this. This is what Doom is, like demonic symbols, demons, red eye. Dude, this is Doom in a nutshell. If I were to put a paint in the picture, this is Doom. So I'd love to have this as a cover. Now again, I'm not quite sure what the details are when it comes to voting, when it comes to the covers they're planning to bust out. But if this is just an indication to start of what ideas I have in mind, I'm actually pretty excited to see what they do in the future with other covers for the game. Then again, it's very minor. We're talking about covers on a game, while most of us are going to buy it online and not going to have the physical game disc anyways. But still, I had that freaking cool cover, and I am down for that. If I had the opportunity, if I had the chance, well, if I wanted to, I want to get the physical disc with that cover, I would. But no, me and a bunch of others will buy it digital. Still, I like to have that as a cover anyways. Like, that would be the cover for the game, online and offline. So, but yeah, I mean, that's cool. I'm totally excited for Doom. When it comes out, I'm very, very excited, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll stream that, no doubt. I'm going to stream that. Maybe day one, depends. Like, that's cool. So, let's see. So let's go with a game that, from shooting people and killing people, not killing people, shooting demons and going to hell, to something more relaxing, and that is No Man's Sky. Recently, No Man's Sky just got a release date. Let me bring up did I get the No Man's Sky? I did not. That's one I forgot. Okay, well, I'm gonna look my ugly mug for a bit. No Man's Sky is a game that people still kind of question about, like, what exactly is this game? And for the longest time, like, people were trying to figure out, like, what type of game is this? And if I were to describe it simply, think of it as you're exploring space, you explore planets, you can do almost whatever you want. It's like, what's the game I'm trying to reference or trying to compare it with? It is like, on the tip of my tongue, man, it's gonna kill me. I cannot remember. There's another game that's very, very similar to it. Like, that is very hugely popular, but it's more in a different style, though. It's gonna kill me. Oh man, I'm gonna remember it later on. Anyways, this story came out of GameSpot.com by Alex Ray Correa. Correa, I'm gonna say that, pronounce it now. In quote, at least from the first, this is what it says. No Man's Sky developer Halo Games space-defined sandbox title will be released on PS4 and PC on June 21st across North America. The UK launch date, meanwhile, is set to June 24th. The news was delivered by Hello Games studio head Sean Murray during the recent event held for press. First announced during 2013 Spike VGX Awards, No Man's Sky will set players free to roam the universe with access to some 18 quadrillion generated planets of varying climate, inhabit, and challenge. The game will allow players to upgrade their spaceship, suit, and weapon as they explore the universe, dealing with alien races and leaving their mark on uncharted territories. So that's their story out of GameSpot. No Man's Sky, to me, like, I'm still one of those. It's like, what is this game? Like, what exactly is this game? What are you doing? And it's like, because gamers are more suited to, you know, a directional path. Like, you enter mission A, you go to mission B, you go to point A to point B, and you accomplish this mission, you get an achievement. No Man's Sky is more open-ended. Like, if you want to explore in space, you can in that game. The goal of the game in No Man's Sky is to get to the center of the universe. Now, they didn't say what exactly is in the center of the universe, but they left it vague enough to where people are more curious when it comes to the game. But yeah, like, it's this is a game that it was originally funded on Kickstarter. This is a game that people have been just wanting to come out and wanting to play it, and it's just been it's just been a game that people have just been very, very curious about and just want to get their hands on. They're tired of seeing trailers, they're tired of seeing interviews. They want their hands on the game. They want to play this game and see what it's all about. Because, like, a lot of people don't know what this game is, and even with the continuous, like, kind of explanation from the developers themselves, like, I think it's better suited just for the game to just people to play it and figure it out. You know, some people proclaim this game is gonna be like the best ever, and they're gonna not play any other game just this alone. But I don't know. I am very curious. I mean, myself, it's not my particular taste in this game. But I can understand a lot of gamers who are very interested in it. I would like to see what this looks like. Watch somebody on Twitch play it. It's very, very interesting. I kind of want to say it's almost like Rust in a way, but it's very interesting. I think that we'll finally get answers in June 21st in the States. So, like, isn't that like a week after E3 or during E3? Way to go, guys! Right when the time we needed. Okay, so. Going from a game that people have been clamoring for and kind of been curious about to, I'd say, let's go to Alan Wake. Alan Wake was one of my favorite games. But let me bring out the real footage. Here we go. So recently, and let me bring up the article too, actually talking about it. Here we go. So again, from GameSpot.com, by Tamar Hussan. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. On February 25th, a trademark for something called Alan Wake's Return appeared online, speaking speculation that developer Remedy Entertainment may be returning to the property for something new. Now, it has been revealed the live-action trailer for Alan Wake's Return will be included in the studio's next game, Quantum Break. I am totally screwing this up. However, it still isn't clear exactly what this is. Polygon reports that in an early section of Quantum Break, players can interact with TV and watch a cinematic trailer for a live-action adaptation of Alan Wake. The trailer ends with the title card that reads Return, which is also the name of the manuscript can be found in Alan Wake's American Nightmare, downloadable standalone DLC expansion release for the Xbox 360. As of yet, it is unclear if it's simply an Easter egg or an indication that Remedy is indeed cooking up something new for Alan Wake. Trademarking the name doesn't necessarily mean the new game is on its way. It may just be the studio protecting the name. And the article goes on to kind of decide, is this going to become a PC? What exactly they're cooking up, and so on. My thoughts on if they are okay. I think Quantum Break it is planning to make an Alan Wake. I think that they're taking some experimental tests. They're kind of like seeing how Quantum Break turns out. But I do think that they're gonna come out with an Alan Wake game. I'm not quite sure how much Alan Wake 1 and American Nightmare sold. It was particularly acclaimed. People loved it. I feel like Alan Wake was one of those like cult hits when it came out. I'm certainly a fan of it. I like Alan Wake. It was really cool when it came out. But I do think Remedy is going to bring on Alan Wake 2. I think that what they are learning now with Quantum Break, especially because like right now Quantum Break is going to be for Xbox One on next gen consoles. So Alan Wake on a next generation console probably has them curious to see what they can do with the game, because the previous generation was on Xbox 360 and PC, which was like last generation for console for 360. PC, it's always going to be PC. It's going to be great. But yeah, no, it's cool. Like I am totally digging a new Alan Wake if they do it. I'm pretty sure they will. And the funny thing of Alan Wake is like they have, if you play the game, like they have like these TVs you can walk around in the game that you can turn on, and they'll have like live action mini episodes, black and white, kind of like Twilight Zone, but they call it something else. So I think they're doing the same thing here, except like they have Alan Wake in it. So the mix of like game and live action, like we haven't seen that in a while. Remedy Games managed to pull it off in the last several games actually. And I guess you can go back as far as like the Command and Conquer as well, the live action stuff. But yeah, it's cool. I'm digging it. I cannot wait to see what they do. Remember the games is pretty cool. So yeah, Alan Wake. So going from Alan Wake and then, being hidden to possibly being happening, which I think it is, to something more along the lines of something that died. No, it's not my cat. No, it's not particularly somebody. PSP is officially dead. It is RIP. And hang on a minute. So, recently, let me bring up the story real quick. Okay, so Sony has announced the closure of the PlayStation Store on PSP, and this is off their website. On March 31st, 2016, the PlayStation Store for PlayStation Portable System in the SEA region will be closed. PSP system users will be able to purchase PSP content from the web-based PlayStation Store at store.playstation.com and also access past purchases from the download list on their PSP system. Users will continue to have the ability to make in-game purchases from their PSP system. Select PSP games are also available to purchase for the PlayStation Store or for PlayStation Vita system users. So it's shutting down. Like the PSP, the handheld itself is still going to be alive in terms of you can buy it or find it somewhere on eBay. The games itself, like you could still download, but you won't be able to buy anything new. So, and I looked this up later on. So, the PSN PSP store for PSP won't be will be shutting down like in July or in April, and basically it's going they're shutting down the PSP. Is what I'm trying to say. Like the PSTV also as well, which launched and did not do either well as well. So it's an end of an era, end of a handheld. I mean, Sony, here's the interesting thing. Sony busts out a portable device that is nearly identical to its counterpart at the time, the PS3. Especially with the PSP Vita, nearly a counterpart to PS4 graphics. And that's something that the gamers always wanted to have. But as time went on, it wasn't, because if you look at the Nintendo 3DS, like the handheld graphics are not as on par with the PSP, yet the games they produce are really good. I think the one thing that really hurt the PSP system was the fact that there weren't that many games for it per se that were good. and the fact that you can hack it and like just exploit the crap out of it for almost everything. So because there were so many PSPs that were sold, but no games that were being sold as well. So I think that it was a nice attempt from Sony. I think that maybe in the long haul, it was going to be something that was going to happen anyways. I don't know. Like I'm not quite sure. I can point out and indicate what some things and factors why the PSP did not succeed. But comparing that to the DS, like if those arguments are the same for one handheld, why shouldn't it be for the DS? And I guess the only answer I can provide at the moment is like the DS had just really good games when it came out, or has a big enough library to support it. So like I think that the PSP might have been better if they would have clamped down on not being hacked. Maybe they had more first-party support when it comes to games. I don't know. Like I feel like ironically, like gamers, like they want to have something that's portable but not a console experience in their hand. They want these small bite-sized chunks of a game that they can just play with them. Plus, like the PSP Vita, while it's very nice, that thing, if you held that in your hand, like it felt like a $500 machine. Like you don't want to break it or drop it. The Nintendo products always had that durability when it came to handhelds or consoles. So for this, it's like it felt like you were handling like dynamite the entire time in your hands. One slip and boom, there goes your Vita. So yeah, I mean like it was an interesting year when it was Sony, and the PSP lasted for this long, which is actually surprising. So I remember I had a PSP for a long time too as well, but it definitely had a lot of cool games, but like again, there weren't that many on the PSP, or PSP Vita for that matter. But yeah, so if you have a PSP or if you have PS TV, buy your games now. You got about a month, and I want to say like another 2 months actually, because I know Skullgirls is coming out on PS Vita next month. So I'd say up until July, I think I read, but officially the PSP is dead. R.I.P. Rest in peace, UMDs. That was one of the things I find funny with that device. You open the UMD and it just flies right out, almost hits you. So going from a dead console handheld to going to something that's dead, it's actually pretty well alive. Rocket League is jumping into the eSports scene, and yes, I did make that title. Don't hurt me. So, Rocket League has recently announced that they are going to have a 3-month season in terms of a Rocket League Championship Series. So this is off the website. Grab 2 friends and form a 3-person team. Then register starting March 25th to compete in the first season of Rocket League Championship Series. Each RLCS season will span 3 months and feature teams from all over North America and Europe. The top 4 teams in each region will be invited to compete at a live international finals event for a shot of glory and their place of the 75,000 prize pool. And they get indications here on the site. Qualifier week 1, open qualifier week 2, group stage week 1, online finals for 10K. For qualifier 1, qualifier 2, and then the grand finals. The live events is 1 weekend live event international final for $55,000, which is nothing to scoff up really. It's actually pretty good money. Yeah, so now Rocket League was a game that came out for free on PS Plus. It was a game that was under a lot of radar, and word got out about this game and people really enjoyed it. To the point to where like it grew so fast over the span of it being out that it created its own eSports scene. This is a prime example of what a game company should do if it has a big enough audience and there's enough like people who are interested in playing it competitively. Because often too not like we have games that are come out that have not been out but going to come out. That are saying like this game is for esports and for everybody else, like you can play this as a competitive game, and that's what the direction they're going towards. And it's such a turn off for a lot of gamers because like how a game turns into esports isn't that you're forcing it. You gotta let the game develop. You gotta see how many people pick up the game and play in a serious level. If there's a say Street Fighter 5 right now, huge team, But they didn't develop because Capcom came down and forced, this is an esports game. Like, this is going to be how, the future of esports is going to be. No. This is something that the audience the gamers by themselves. And then Capcom just latch on to it. Realize, like, oh, there's a huge audience who wants to play Street Fighter at this high competitive level. Let's support them. So this is a prime example of that for Rocket League. And Rocket League, again, huge audience, out of nowhere. And, not quite too surprising that it's an esports thing. Now, I'm kind of curious to see what they do with the presentation, because I know that this will be a stream on Twitch, but I'm kind of curious about how they're going to present this. I've always watched Rocket League, through an aspect of one player, but I'm kind of curious what they do with, different other players at a given time. So, we'll see how that goes, but I am very interested to see what they do with the Rocket League esports scene, as well as their presentations. I'm more curious about what's going to look like on Twitch. Are we going to get like Dota 2 like analysts? Are we going to get like a desk? Like, what? Are we going to get instant replays? It's in the game already, so we can have that already propped up for commentators to talk about. So I'm curious. I am very, very curious what they do with the scene and what they do with the esports presentation of it. But no, Rocket League jumping into it, and it's cool. No, I like it. I like the fact that these games are getting some esports attached to it. Makes things very more interesting when initially when it came out. All right, so going from a game that's Rocket League into something that's actually very interesting. So Yahoo.com. Now, they've been known recently for their good news coverage of other things. Actually, Katie Kern actually joined the Yahoo team as well as a correspondent. But recently, they've announced they are joining the esports coverage. And let me actually bring that up real quick to show you guys what I mean. Esports site. So, now here's the thing that's interesting about this. Now, we've already seen that ESPN already has kind of announced and already go into the esports coverage already. That might have been the first big domino to fall when it comes to this coverage. Here we go. So, as you can see, this is the Yahoo.com esports section. As you can tell, a lot of video content. Right now, the games they're covering is CSGO, Dota 2, Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, and Street Fighter V. The interesting thing about it is that they have their own chat room, their own videos, even their own kind of like ESPN's scores or upcoming games. So, like, this is cool. I think what really indicated to me is like when ESPN announced that they were going to cover this as an on their site as an esports thing, that other big sites, other sites might follow. We already seen this with other TV shows. CSGO is on TNT. They had their own show on there that's also dedicated to esports. There is definitely an indication as far as like the esports scene. We're getting to the point where the esports scene is growing, that it's getting bigger, and it's almost to the point to where you have to cover this if you're a news site, if you're somewhat interested in the video game aspect of the scene. So it is definitely interesting and cool to see the Yahoo joining the fray when it comes to the coverage. But like it's getting there. We're getting there to the point that we may actually see we may actually get to the point where it is like ESPN like levels of people covering this, like giving full analysis, not that they already do, but like even more so. I think the one thing that's one step away from this is the fact that the TV versus internet thing, as far as like if this are they going to show this on TV? They possibly can. They already did with Heroes of the Storm on ESPN. But I think in this generation, like, it is very interesting the fact that people who are watching right now, people watching this on YouTube, on Twitch, like, they're more inclined to watch the esports live events on Twitch and online because you have the interactivity with the chat. But when it comes to TV, like, you're more or less, you're watching on TV, you can interact on social media about it. But I think the one thing that the thing about it is, like, people are more divided in terms of, like, people in this generation are more inclined to get more direct content than rather waiting for TV, which used to be the TV still is, but it's getting to the point where like TV is becoming useless when it comes to our generation of content. You know, for the yesterday content, yes, people can go watch ESPN or watch TV shows if they want to. You know, watch Chopped. But what I'm getting at is the fact that the more of the esports scene, the more the video game scene more develops. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be on both platforms, but it's going to be interesting to see which platform are people more inclined to go. Are they going to be more inclined to watch on TV? We're talking about the mainstream. We're talking about the people who don't play games, which might bring them on to watch them online, or is going to be like majority of the other people who are going to be watching this online on Twitch, on YouTube, on other platforms online. Is maybe where most of the viewers are. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But Yahoo joining the fray, it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty sick. So I think that Yahoo joining is, it gives a different aspect. So now we don't have to have ESPN always be the analyst again. But there's other analysts out there that you can definitely check out and follow on Twitter or on YouTube. But having Yahoo is another major part of this, and they've done some really good work in the news field. I think this will be great. I'm really excited for what Yahoo can do in the future. All right, so went from Yahoo joining the esports scene to the last two big topics I think I have signed up for. Okay, so the Nintendo Direct happened yesterday. I was at work. I was watching the whole thing, and I came away with some thoughts about it. Now, here's the thing, and let me actually bring up what was announced actually. So where is it? Here we go. So here are some of the games that they announced and they talked about during the live stream. So the following: Start Fox Zero launching April 22nd on the Wii U. Paper Mario Color Splash confirmed for Wii U. Super Mario Maker to get a major update on March 9th. The crossover of the Atlas game that's coming out next month, or coming out in June. It's called Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It's the Fire Emblem crossover Atlas game. I can't remember the whole title, but that's coming out in June. Splatoon updates continue into 2016. Lost Ravers open beta kicks off in April. Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games get a summer release date for Wii U. Super Meat Boy confirmed for Wii U shop release. Now, before I move on to the 3DS games, now I have some thoughts. Wow, why is this not loading faster? Hang on a minute, guys. Can I speed this up? No, I can't. Okay, all right. Well, you're gonna just see the screen. So my thoughts on it is that I saw Star Fox Zero. I think that the idea of what they put in place is that having one person control, and this is something in the feature in the game you can do, because prior there was at E3 people were complaining the fact that they wanted you to use a 3DS, I mean the 3DS, but the 3D the Wii U pad, and to maneuver the airship and shoot at the same time with the gyroscope, but the shooting part would be on your screen. So you have to focus on two screens at the same time. They since changed that. Now it's much of a better aspect now that a person with another controller can control the airship, while another person with the Wii U pad can just aim at the enemies and shoot. Which I think is a much better idea than what they're initially going for. With that being said, after seeing Star Fox Zero yesterday, Star Fox Zero, a part of me wants to play the game. A part of me, I'm still waiting as far as like what exactly it's going to turn out to be. And let me find out why this is not. Wow. Okay. So it will start up in a minute, guys. It's I downloaded it off online, so and for some reason it's not working. All right. It's gonna be on my mug for now. Okay. So I was gonna say. So yeah, my thoughts on Star Fox Zero is that I think that it's interesting. I'm still on the fence as far as like whether I want to get the game or not. We'll see. I do kind of like the Star Fox Gate, the game where basically it's just a tower defense. If you're Slippy or the rabbit guy, I totally forgot his name. But yeah, that's Star Fox. I mean, it's interesting. It doesn't really grab my attention to want to buy the game, but it's cool to see for sure, no doubt. Paper Mario Color Splash from for you. Never, I enjoy Paper Mario as it is. Like, I never played the game. I've seen my brother play all the way through. It's alright. I mean, like, the game kind of looks like another Paper Mario game, but like has a color splash mechanic a la Splatoon. I think the other notable things for me is the Splatoon updates to continue on to 2016. Now, Splatoon for me has been a very, very fun game. I have not played it in a while, but Splatoon is really fun. The game is really enjoying it. Here are some details regarding it. This is off the NintendoLife.com. So, the hit multiplayer title Splatoon will be receiving some new updates throughout 2016, beginning March 8th. An update will address balancing issues regarding specific gear abilities. Some will receive a buff, making them stronger on the battlefield, while others a small nerf. Additionally, tweaks to matchmaking, ranked battles, Splatfest will be coming with the goal to improve the overall user experience. Another patch will arrive later on containing weapon balances in addition to new weapon set recommendations known as Sheldon's Picks. This update will roll out in 2 waves, the first of which coming in April. Which is cool. Hey, you know what? I'm down. I do enjoy the fact that Nintendo is still supporting Splatoon and Mario Maker. Those are the 2 big games that are being majorly supported right now by Nintendo. And the more they continue to support, the more people are being more drawn into these games, which is cool. It's awesome. I think this might be a first for Nintendo because when it comes to Nintendo games, they do the classic. If you make a game, shoot it out for people to play, work on another game, repeat the process. Because of this online aspect, they finally realized that they can support these games. They can make them last longer rather than having people play them for about, a good 2-3 months and then move on. So I enjoy the fact that Nintendo is finally realizing, like, okay, yeah, you're totally right. Here are some of the 3DS announcements. Which the first one, I feel like I'm heartbroken about this one. SNES game finally arriving on the new Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console. The Metro Prime Federation Force is coming sooner than expected. Monster Hunter Generations headed to 3DS this summer. Hyrule Warriors Legends Season Pass confirmed 4 waves of DLC. Kirby is taking a trip to Planet Robobot this June. Fire Emblem Fates finally has a release date and details for Europe. So, Satoru Shibata celebrates Yokai Watch with some dance moves, which I find very hilarious. Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix dancing onto 3DS. Unleash your creativity sided with Disney Arcade. New Azure Strike Gunvolt 2 trailer. Showcase summer release. Pocket Card Jockey comes to 3DS eShop in May. And Bravely Second End Layer demo confirmed for March 10th in North America. Now, I have some thoughts about this. Okay. Nintendo is kind of becoming the Apple of when it comes to handhelds. In terms like every so often, like if you want to play a new game, you have to get the new handheld, because it's only exclusive on that handheld. You can't play it on the last one. So on the new Nintendo 3DS, when they brought that out, one of the games they have exclusively for the game was Binding of Isaac, was one of the first. In the Nintendo Direct yesterday, they announced that that's going to be the SNES Virtual Console that's going to be only exclusive to the new 3DS, which bums me out because I would love to have that on my DS. Oh man. And people say, like, you can emulate that on your computer, you can download it from other locations, you can have it on your Android, that's fine. I think people who have a 3DS, it sucks, but I get what Nintendo's doing, moving on to the next console, moving on to the next thing, but man, I would love to have that on my 3DS. I would put so much money into that thing to play classic games or games I've not played in a while on my portable device. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Metro Prime Federation Force, whew, that game looks rough. Like, that game to me does not look good. For those who don't know, Metro Prime is basically Metro Prime Federation Force for 3DS. It's basically it is basically 4 soldiers, basically like Monster Hunter in the Metro Prime universe. You're not Samus at all. You are a soldier in this, and you go in trying to find Samus, but the way that it's detailed out is that you are in this group. Somebody's a mage, somebody's a heavy damage dealer. It's basically you kind of monster hunter aspect within the Metroid Prime universe. Now, to some people, that's really cool and really awesome. The look of it does not look great. I think the aspect of like a Metroid Prime game without being Samus, I think, sucks. I don't think it's a direction they want to go towards. And that game looks rough. Like, that game looks really rough, just from the animation aspect and the art aspect as well. So I'm not quite sure if that's going to do well, but we'll see how things go out. One of the things that I'm been waiting on is like Fire Emblem Fates, the Revelation, which comes in 2 games, but both games on the same card, as well as the additional DLC with it. Right now, with Fire Emblem, you can only buy one or the other. If you're Conquest, $40. If you're Birthright, $40. It's like $80 right there. I'm just waiting for the Revelation to come out so I can buy both. Realistically, I'm not gonna go through that whole struggle. Other than that, though, like, you know, I think Rhythm Heaven Remix, I think it's pretty cool. I think the fact that that's coming over to the DS, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty great game otherwise, but, you know, more of that, you know, it's pretty awesome. Oh, and of course, this game got me excited. Kirby Robot Bot. That game is okay. To give you a Kirby game, 2D side scroller. You know, you're going through as Kirby. You're trying to save the day. You suck up enemies. You transform into them. But the key this time around is that when you transform into them, you transform into a robot version, like a mech version of, like, you know. Well, you can still do the other version, but like, you can do into a robot version, and that got me really hyped. I was like, holy crap! I can turn to a mech, yes! and the Kirby games have always been good, for the most part. They've always been good. I've not ran into a Kirby game that's not been good. So that's cool. I like that. That's gonna be pretty awesome. It's pretty sick. But that's one of my, you know, things I took out of that 3DS lineup. So, and they also announced, you know, Amiibos. The new Amiibos coming out on March 18th. You know, including Ryu, you know, Marth, and such others. Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge gets release dates for America, and Nintendo's third-party game Sizzle Reel shows off some downloadable gems. So they had like this Sizzle Reel of like other third-party games they're bringing over to the Nintendo eShop. One of them I am personally looking forward to is Hollow Knight. It's like the art style of Limbo, but it's much simpler than that, and it's more, I guess, less scary. But yeah, those were the things that came out away from the Nintendo Direct. There's also a Mario Maker. I should point out that they're also supporting that game with more stuff. They're putting in keys now. They're putting in like special coins you can now get via like, you know, you collect, you know, 05, you get a 1-up, or you collect 5 and you complete the level, and so on. So they're definitely supporting that. Mario Maker, the more tools they gave them, the more interesting that scene gets. You know, and I was on this show saying, like, you know, I don't think Mario Maker's gonna survive that long. I thought there's gonna be like another Little Big Planet, but no, I was proven wrong. So, you know, it's cool, and it's really cool to see Nintendo finally realizing that internet connection, that they can actually support these games more so than what they have prior. So that's my thoughts on Nintendo Direct. I think that I came in pretty satisfied with what they showed on the Direct. I think that people are out there saying, like, you know, it's not the greatest this year, and I say, like, I think that I had enough in there that satisfied me myself. So, all right, last story of the day. This is a big one, and I'll try to condense this in 10 minutes. But Microsoft hinting at hardware changes for Xbox One. Now, okay, so Microsoft, oh boy. If there was any indication is that they'd learned anything from last year's E3, or the last time they tried to roll out changes for Xbox One, they did not learn their lesson the last time. There we go. Where to begin? Okay, so Microsoft, Phil Spencer had I guess a speech, or just kind of was talking about the future of Xbox One, but just future in consoles in general, saying that, and I just got a quote here actually, this is off of Polygon.com, and I'll read this entire quote. Quote, We look at these other ecosystems out there like mobile, tablet, and PC, and see that they have many have a very continuous evolution cycle in hardware. Whereas between console generations, most of the evolution is making it cheaper and potentially making it smaller. Both are meaningful, but don't make the games play any better. If you look at PC specifically and see the evolution that happens there, there's no reason why consoles can't ride the exact same curve. I look at the ecosystem that is a console sits in, and I think that it should have the capability of more iteration on the hardware capability. Sony is doing with the VR and adding VR capabilities to mid-cycle to PlayStation 4, and they're doing that by adding another box. I don't mean that is negative, but it's not changing what the core console is about. For consoles in general, it is more important now than it's been ever been, because you have so many other platforms that are around. It used to be that when you bought your console, you're way ahead of the price performance curve by so much relative to a PC, but now PCs are inexpensive and your phones are getting more and more capability. I still think a console is the best price to a performance deal that is out there, but when you look at the evolution, I'm not going to announce our roadmap for hardware, but what I am wanting to say on stage for people when they see this version of ours and question our commitment to consoles, I want to make sure that people see that what we are doing enables us to be more committed to what consoles are about than we've ever been, and innovative more consistently than we ever have. That's the key for me. End quote. Now, here's the thing. I listened to a few other podcasts that talked about this, and the thing about this is, like, Phil Spencer is very vague when it came to his message, like just trying to what he was trying to say in it. So what I've gathered is that Microsoft wants to turn they want to turn the PC and Xbox One in the same, in a sense that because they're supporting Windows 10, they want to get it out there. Like, both consoles will support the same OS, support both systems. That's why they have like the ability to stream Xbox One games onto your PC if you have Windows 10. The thing about it is, what I've gathered about this is the fact that that Microsoft is trying to monopolize the PC market in a way that only Microsoft can with their OS. But again, like, this is very unclear. Phil Spencer made it very unclear what exactly that they're, what they're wanting to have with the console. There have been some, I won't say rumors, but there's some indication that the console, or the PC version of Windows 10, when it comes to gaming, it's going to be so locked down as a console that it's going to be locked down to several various things. Example, games have to be in 60 frames per second all the time. VSync will be turned on all the time. You cannot have overlays on your game at any given point. There's some things they kind of said out there, like, we're fixing it, we're looking into it, we're taking some recommendations. It's feeling like what they did last time, where they said that with the whole issue with Xbox One and owning a game, and the fact that if you don't have the license for a game, or it was such a long time ago too, that if you gave it to somebody, but they had to repurchase it just to play multiplayer with you for that limited time, like, there was a lot of things they did wrong in that press conference, and it was maybe it was a great idea of Microsoft, maybe it was something that was really cool, but the messaging was poor, to the point to, like, people were pretty upset at what the worst possible aspect of that console could potentially produce. So then, with that being said, it is almost like the same thing again. There's some indications of, like, things that they are putting out there that people are not liking, and the indication it's history repeating itself over again. Pretty much, it was coming down to. Tim Sweeney actually went on Twitter to he went an article, and basically, and I'll read the first paragraph. Microsoft wants to monopolize games development on PC. We must fight it. That's the title of this article is. So I'll read the first 2 paragraphs. Tim Sweeney is from Gears of War, guys who make Gears of War. With its Universal Windows Platform initiative, Microsoft has built a closed platform within platform into Windows 10 as a first apparent step towards locking down the consumer PC ecosystem and monopolizing app distribution and commerce. In my view, this is the most aggressive move Microsoft ever made. While the company has been convicted of violating antitrust laws in the past, its wrongful actions were limited to fight specific competitors and contracts with certain PC manufacturers. You can read the whole article on TheGuardian.com in the technology section. Although I should mention, like when Tim Sweeney made that article, no later than less than 24 hours ago, he backtracked and said, "Oh, I'm all supportive of the UWP. Yeah, I'm totally in for it now." So, the other indication I got from getting some details about Microsoft's hardware changes, or trying to upgrade for it, is that, and this is what I've heard on the Giant Beastcast, like verbatim, but there is a theory that if Microsoft is going in this direction, that maybe they're going in the direction of an iPad or a tablet, where like you have, like, example, I have an iPhone 5. Eventually, I may have to upgrade to an iPhone 6. I know that there are certain games and applications I cannot play on my iPhone 5 that I need an iPhone 6 for, or an iPhone 6s for. It's the same thing with Xbox One. There's a theory that from John Beastcast, that it may be that same idea, to where it's going to be like an iPad. Like, you're going to purchase a new SKU, a new Xbox every other year that can play the game, or maybe it's going to be just like a software update you may have to purchase. Say that the Xbox One comes out and you get to play those games on the Xbox One, but Xbox 1.3 you can't play, say, the next Half-Life game. You have to have 1.3 and you need to pay to upgrade. It's kind of like, then that's a theory, and people even said, as far as like maybe it's an additional attachment, like the Sega Genesis with the 32X to attach on top of the console, that will make the graphics slightly better and it's faster. So I think what is hurting Microsoft right now, or Phil Spencer with that matter, is that there isn't enough information in terms of like what exactly is out there, like what exactly what the information out there, what exactly is this UWP? Can you please give it to us straight, give us details about it? And I think that they're going to probably hint that more at E3. So what to wait and see. I mean, the E3 is going to be huge again this year. Nintendo NX information, this UWP as well, Universal Windows Platform. It's going to be a very, very interesting E3. It may be one of those things where you may not want to miss. But it's just like we need clear indication. We need full explanation of what UWP is, what exactly is Microsoft thinking. Maybe it's a one console all future thing that they're trying to do, but E3 is going to be a big one. We need more explanation. I think right now people are speculating and only thinking and theorizing what it potentially could be, rather than the vague information that Phil Spencer put out there. So wait and see. My MO, my catchphrase, wait and see. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you guys for stopping by, or people watching this show on YouTube. So, you can follow me on Twitter. Hang on a minute. Let me end of show. Alright, so you can follow me on Twitter at Defective Naruto. You can follow work that I do at MissionStartPodcast.com. And actually, if you enjoy listening to this podcast either on YouTube or on our website, there's an audio version on iTunes and Stitcher you can check out. We update that every week with a new episode, so definitely check it out if you can. You can watch it or listen to it on the go, on your phone or whatever, tablet, so on. If you enjoy our convention talk, if you enjoy us talking about conventions we've been to, we talked about AOD this past week, definitely check out the Conover, where we criticize and we analyze each convention we've been to, kind of like dissect every part of it and what our thoughts came away from it. You can check it out on iTunes and Stitcher as well. And also, if you enjoy comic books, movies, entertainment, all that aspect, a bit of anime, a bit of video games in there and thrown in, check out the Rolling 20s hosted by Jeremy Wilson, which also is live on iTunes and Stitcher. The YouTube versions of those two YouTube series those podcast series of Rolling 20s and Conover will be uploaded soon. I've been busy working on the site, trying to get things better for the site and so on. And yeah, definitely doing that. But they will be on YouTube soon. So with that being said, yeah, again, another show, another week of me being alone. Anyways, with that being said, thank you guys for coming by. Thanks you for watching, and we will see you guys next time.